Are we live? Oh, it says I'm live. Okay. Well, we'll take it. I think there's too much light in this room. Okay. Well, hello, Crime Stoppers. Let's start with this. Since there's that much light in the room, there you go. There you go. I can't do it. Should have rehearsed. You can kind of see it. What can I do? Nope, I can't do it like that. All right. Anyway, you see that lovely greenish blue color right there? That's what people are going for with the methylene blue. I achieved the same with Jagulan, that'd be Gynostemma, and yerba mate. And that's the remnants in the bottom of a cup. And you can see that lovely color. That's part of it. Turns out color is important when it comes to your tea. Okay. And I don't have any. Oh, yes, I do. They're right here. I'm looking on the eBay, and I'm seeing these guys right here for like, $29, $35, 24. Well, actually, I don't think I've seen one for 24, but I've seen them for 29. I've seen them for 33 and 35 and 39. And yet spot is 48. It's down to like 48 or so. Actually, let's go look and see. What is spot doing at the moment? Let's see here. I should actually know that. I should have checked before I got on. Let's see here. What's the silver price? And this is futures. This is not spot. 48.17 actually. Oh, auspicious number actually. Anyway, really, so out of the kindness of their hearts over there on eBay, they're selling you silver $10 below spot, or $10 below this quoted futures price. That's not counterfeit or anything, right? And actually, this one person at $29.99, I said, if they turn out to be fake, you're going to jail because counterfeiting U.S. coins is against federal law. And then the Secret Service shows up, and those guys don't fool around. Anyway, mine one came with barcode and everything, certification from a reputable mint. This one is old. And see, these two coins, they passed the test. I showed Pookie over there. Well, actually, I didn't show her. I made her listen. When you drop these coins on stone, they make a certain ringing sound that fakes just can't. And I don't have a fake, and I feel like buying one off of eBay, but I don't want to waste the $39 to get a fake coin to prove the point. But when you drop that coin, it's not going to sound like a silver coin. And silver sounds like silver. And especially when it's 999 silver, it has that ring to it that you can't miss. Now, here's the thing. This is for Johnny Bravo. I should have started with this. There's going to be a time when you sell your silver for paper or for trade it for whatever, gold or copper, because I know a lot of people that are thinking, ooh, if I'm in gold and then they revalue it, suddenly overnight my gold is going to be worth more. Okay, I won't argue the point. At the same time, they're at the point now where they don't have the silver. They don't have it. They're lying about the deficits, first off. And I think Bix Weir has pointed that out numerous times that it's hundreds, millions more ounces they're short than they admit, the deficit, that is. Further, there's this stuff called nitric acid. Nitric acid is a finite supply, actually, just like silver is a finite supply. Nitric acid, if you know anything about silver mining, and you ought because you're supposed to be invested in it, it requires copious amounts of nitric acid to burn off the copper that is usually found with the silver. It takes a large amount of nitric acid to burn off, and there's math involved, to take, say, 90% silver to 0.99939 silver, or 0.925 to 39 silver. So for a little while there, because the refineries were out of nitric acid or running low on it, they weren't accepting coin silver or other silver. See, Providence takes care of it because they would have been melting down the coin silver. except for the fact that they didn't have the nitric acid to finish it. So now they have printed literally billions of ounces of silver, and there's not even going to be nitric acid enough to have the refineries meet some of that demand with what we have now. Further, guess who Enron it? Oh, yeah, the Chinese bought up copious amounts of ammonia, nitrate, and another. Oh, why did they buy up ammonia? Oh, so they could make nitric acid, so they could refine the silver, which was the doré that they bought from mines in South America that needs lots of processing to turn into 0.99 fine, 39 fine silver. And so the Chinese already kind of sort of cornered because it's a world market. See, the Americans and the British are always thinking that the world revolves around us, except for the minor detail that there's a whole lot more Asians than there are Americans and Brits and Europeans by a long shot. And they all want silver. The Americans haven't even figured out that they need silver. Oh, actually, they just did. They just figured out. Oh, yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it a precious metal. It was already a precious metal, but now it's strategic. Okay, so a little birdie, and we can't talk about this much. Told me that we're gearing up for war. This guy named Martin Armstrong told you 100% chance for nuclear war. Okay, for nuclear war, we need sophisticated weaponry. For sophisticated weaponry, you can't use 3-9 silver. You need 4 and 5-9 silver. And to get 4 and 5-9 silver, it's not heat that's doing this, it's nitric acid. And no more nitric acid. But plenty silver paper contracts. Soon, the Chinese and Indians are going to overwhelm the market with the help of the Brazilians and the Russians. The Saudi Arabians bought lots and lots of SLV, which allowed SLV to take those shares because for a little while there, SLV didn't have any shares to lend to go short. And then suddenly the Saudis came in with a large sum of money. You can go look it up. And they bought SLV. They didn't buy silver directly, they bought SLV so that the bankers could go even more short, and they did. And now, let's see, how are they filling the leases at, or how are they, excuse me, how are they filling the contracts at the LBMA? Oh, with leases, leased silver. Well, the leases come due. So they're either going to have to give the silver back, and there's a chance that they might say, oh, sorry, we can't get back to you, which will piss the Chinese off. But we'll see what happens with that. But the leases come due. And in the time that it takes for the leases to come due, we will have printed another $1 trillion in debt. Now, that would be trillion with a T. Like, people don't understand how much $1 trillion is. All right, but the idea is that for $1 trillion in debt, there's no silver to soak that up. There's no gold to soak that up. But you'll see that the price of silver and gold is definitely rising as they create more debt. And now what we have is way too much paper and not enough precious metal. And much of that paper is looking for a quote unquote safe haven. And that safe haven is precious metal. But see, not too many people understand the little glitch that we have now. And like I said, there is problems from retail all the way back down to the ground. The price was too cheap, so silver miners weren't mining and aren't mining. There's plenty of silver mines that the doors are shuttered. And then the mines that are producing silver, there's very few of those, but most of the silver we get is as quote unquote a byproduct. They're not even mining for the silver, it's a byproduct. Okay, well, that byproduct requires lots of nitric acid and heat to refine into 9999. Okay, but 3-9 silver does not suffice for our military. You need 4.9 and 5.9. We're talking pure silver. And then what do they do with it? They blow it up. That silver goes away. Never to be seen again. Same thing with the silver that's going to China and India. It's never coming back. So who is standing for delivery? Oh, it's the Chinese and the Indians. And take a look at how much they've been standing for delivery. And I mean, it's crazy the amount of silver that's getting delivered. And a country as big as India, up until yesterday, I have not checked. I'll find out this Sunday. They had no silver. None, not any. You could get jewelry, but you couldn't buy this kind of silver. You couldn't buy a coin. You couldn't buy a 10-ounce bar or a 1-ounce bar or a 100-ounce bar or a 1,000-ounce bar. There wasn't any silver to buy. And lots of people wanted silver. Lots and lots of people wanted silver. And they can't get any because there isn't any. They want to buy silver. Doesn't matter how many rupees they have in hand or how much gold they could trade. There isn't any silver to get. See, this is going to happen in the West also, where people are going to want to buy silver, and there isn't going to be any silver to be had because there isn't going to be any silver. So Johnny Bravo sells at the top. Yay! Trades for lots of FRNs and other paper, and then he gets to trade a lot more. But then when he wants to come back and buy silver, it's now unobtainium. Why is it unobtainium? Well, let me count the ways. The amount of contracts standing for delivery and the amount of physical left, if you can do some simple math, and apparently motherfuckers can't, and there's more people standing for delivery by like 300 times than there is silver. 300. There are 300 people that think that they own what's in my hand, and they have a piece of paper. They don't have silver. See this? This is called no third-party risk. And there's going to be a time when I won't even be able to go to Costco and spend this. Like, people just don't fucking understand what's coming. God damn it. $1 trillion in debt in 71 days. Trillion. And you guys are thinking that this is going to end in a fucking orderly market? How are you out of your fucking minds? And all you told us what would happen. Biggs told us, Andy, and suddenly nobody seems to understand. Bill Holter, all you guys. $1 trillion fucking dollars in debt in 71 days. How much more silver we didn't create more silver. There's a deficit of silver. Every day that goes by, we owe silver. And these motherfuckers went naked on top of everything else. People don't know how are we going to settle this. I'm going to be interested to see how they're going to settle this. Because we're talking trillions. And trillions and trillions. And all that money is sloshing around. And where is it going to end up? Well, some of it's going to end up in gold. Fortunately, there's a lot of gold. There's a lot more gold than they let on. But there isn't a lot more silver than they let on. In fact, there's a lot less silver than they let on. And we've used up a lot more than they let on. And they lie about it. There's your first clue. And they've been lying about it for, I don't know, 5 years now? And now it's starting to show. Oh, oops. We got backwardation going on again. Take a look. They're trying to hide the backwardation. But if you buy, like, say you want to buy a monster box, go take a look. If you want delivery right now, you're going to probably pay several tens of thousands of dollars more for that monster box if you want delivery now than if you're quote unquote waiting to wait till December. It's not a few bucks anymore. And I remember when I could get 10 of these shipped to my door for 50 bucks. 10 of them to my door, included shipping, for $50 off of eBay. Now I get 2 for $100. Actually, more than that. I don't know what I paid. 120, whatever. 60 bucks basically. Meantime, if I was being, foolish, there are plenty of people on eBay selling these for $39. So it's begun. So probably the dimes are probably still good, but you're gonna have to be able to check and know if you got silver or not, because they're not. I guarantee you ain't getting a deal. There might be one foolish person or two that has a stash of these and they just want to get rid of them and they're undercutting the market. Yeah, that could be the case, but most likely not. And certainly when you see over and over again, account after account where they have these for 39 bucks or 29 bucks. I don't see any of like SD Bullion or Pinehurst or any of those guys. APMEX, any of them. They're all selling at or close to $50. Because that's the other thing. Just because the price goes down to 46, you've got premiums. So Andy Scheckman over at Miles Franklin, they were selling coin silver pretty much at spot. Why? Because he had stocked up in advance because he saw all this coming. Although all of a sudden it seems that they can't figure out that the Chinese are awfully pissed about what happened when the Americans, and they try to make it sound like it's just the Sassoons. It was Delanos, it was Sassoons, it was Rothschilds, it was all of them guys selling opium into China and taking nothing but silver in return. And they didn't just addict to Hong Kong. And then they stole Hong Kong for 100 fucking years. One of their major ports. If you think the Chinese aren't still slightly pissed about the whole thing, you have another thing coming. I've been there. They have museums. The people still talk about it. It's not something in the distant past. Like if you talk to Americans, they have no idea that we sold opium to the Chinese. And we busted open their ports in the century before that with gunships. Because the Japanese and the Chinese weren't really keen to trade with the Europeans. You didn't really have anything they wanted. All your freaking material and China and everything, your porcelain, silk, everything was inferior. So they wanted silver for their goods. They weren't taking pieces of paper like they are now. And then all that silver flowed from the coffers in England. And where did they get it, by the way? They had take a look at the wars and so forth. It was just like following the money, especially following silver. That is a fun rabbit hole to go down. It's like, Bookie, what's that book where they were doing trying to find the what do you call it? Da Vinci Code. It's like the Da Vinci Code, except it's silver. Because eventually you get the Spanish galleons and the and the Americas. But the Spanish and the Spanish Empire was insane how much gold and silver they plundered out of the Americas. And then of course in wars and so forth, a lot of that got distributed to other kingdoms. And then some of that made it back to China. Anyway, the Chinese want their silver back. Long story short. And the way that the silver was taken from them was by addicting their people to opium and heroin. And the way that they got their silver was by selling actual goods, silks and tea and china. We still call it china to this day. Porcelain, all manner of spice. We won't even get into the other traffic. But the idea being is that they earned their silver in mercantile fashion. And the Americans and British did not earn their silver.
They always plunder.
They plundered with opium and outright stole a bunch of it. Anyway, now that silver is making its way back to India and China, and it's never coming back to the United States. What are you burning? Anyway, the idea is you're watching the coup de grace, and we're within months of it. Did you manage to turn everything off?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't smell like it.
Everything's off.
So anyway, these guys are about to murderate the British bankers. And the way they're going to murderate these British bankers who are naked short is with silver. Because how dare they stand for delivery for the silver that they purchased? And they're gaming this. No, they're standing for delivery. You sold them silver at a ridiculous price, and now they want the silver. What? You can jump up and down all day, but the price, it looks to me like I can buy one of these for $60. $9.99 silver. And then they don't even like these. They want to turn this. They need to dip this into some nitric acid and pick it up to 999. One more 9. So 999 is what I'm holding in my hand. And then they want one more 9. That's 49. That's Canadians, actually. And then one more 9 on top of that gets you to 59 silver. You can't even buy 59 silver. But that's what the military requires. And they need a fuck ton of it. So they need a lot of nitric acid. So there's no nitric acid left over to take 90 coin silver up to 999. That's why the refineries were saying, no, we don't want coin silver. And that's why the coin shop started saying, okay, well, then we don't want the coins. We don't want dimes. We don't want, American money. And I was like, wow, they won't even buy it. Oh no, now what? Now just wait. Just wait. Eventually there will be more nitric acid because that can be created, but it takes a while, and that supply chain is fucked up due to the fact that they've been messing with agriculture. So the bankers have laid their own bed, and now they're going to get to lay in it. And the rest of us are not going to feel sorry. We're probably going to have a little bit of a hard time with this when the bankers actually give up the ghost, because there goes the whole system of credit and so forth. And I don't know if they're going to change over to XRP and other coins and so forth, but that whole SWIFT system is about to go belly up because the banks are about to go belly up. Why? Because they're too big to fail, and they're going to fail because they ain't got the silver. And it's going to be billions and billions and billions. Let's see, this is the thing. Billions and billions. Meantime, in 71 day, trillions. It's not just 3 zeros, guys. This is the problem. I've done presentations and so forth. The difference between billion and trillion is astronomical. And people don't seem to understand. We are now at the point where in less than 90 days, $1 trillion in debt is going by. This is completely unsustainable. And this is just what they're talking about. Never mind derivatives. Bruh, they're fucked. Like, beyond my ability to elucidate in English words is how fucked these people are. I could do some math for you, but even then, your eyes just roll back in your head because of all the zeros. But the difference between 100 billion and a trillion is still a factor. And this market is not increasing in size. In fact, it's decreasing. So you're going to have even more money chasing even less product. And up until quite recently, they have been able to control that with shorting. Just short the fuck out of it. And it's worked. And now we've got a whole bunch of people thinking that, oh, it's going to be just like last time. Well, last time they had silver. This time they do not have silver. Last time they didn't have India and China sucking it all up. Go look at the Indian population. Go look at the Chinese population. The one thing we had going for us is up until quite recently, people who stack silver in China were considered silly because you don't stack silver, you stack gold. I mean, yeah, you can stack silver, but I mean, no, you stack gold because gold, everything else is credit. They still understand that to this day. And then all of a sudden, silver started going up in value. And, oh, wait a minute, silver did better than gold. And now the Chinese are taking a look at silver. I mean, the peasants, the working class. And wait a minute, you can get, so much more silver coins for the same amount of, And I'm supposed to trade 80 something of these for one coin that's even smaller than what I'm holding? No, I don't think so. Most people that get silver are like, no. I'm not trading. Here, I have two of them in here. I'm probably not even going to trade two of these for 1 ounce of silver. Excuse me, 1 ounce of gold. That day is coming. People are going to figure out this is unobtainium. There's only so much of it, and we keep blowing it up. You want peace, buy silver. And then don't sell it to the evil ones. Okay. Let's talk about some other stuff. Oh, I have a horsey. Go find out about this. And oh, wait, I should read that to you. If you give this to your horse, don't eat it. It actually says that. Okay. Sun gazing. Okay, I've added this piece of the puzzle into the sun gazing. This is a mask that is like when you put this mask on, you can be looking right at the sun and you can't tell. You can turn around and look the other way and there's no difference. It's just black. It's a total blackout mask. Okay, so what happens is, and you should never do this because you'll go blind. Don't do this because if you look at the sun, you'll go blind. That's what happens. When you look at the sun, you go blind. So don't do this. But anyway, what you do is, or what some crazy people do who do this, you put the mask on, and that makes your eyes, the iris get, right? And then you take it off, and then you look at the sun. Oh my. You will be collecting photons, as they say. Now, you can filter the photons that come into your eyes using simple blue blockers, which will block the blue wavelength. One more time, information comes on light waves. Okay, so the addition of this mask, also there's a whole thing where you go like 3 days with total darkness, and then you go, right, and it simulates being in the cave, because there's all these cults where you have to go live in a cave in complete darkness for XYZ, and then you come out into the sun, and it's amazing. And they do this to children. They do this to young babies, where they put them in the cave, and then they just talk to them about the world outside, and they train them, and they teach them all manner of meditation and prayer and so forth. And the child knows nothing but darkness. And then one day, they take the child into the light. And everything is so much better than was described, usually in their imagination. Because before this, they'd never seen a flower. How do you describe red? How do you describe blue? How do you describe the ocean or the sky? You can only use words. and then they actually see it for themselves. Anyway, understand it's quite the thing. I don't think I would like to be subjected to that. However, I have noticed that using this blackout mask, it's pretty interesting, to say the least. And we're just getting to the point where the pool that I'm at is right at 70 degrees, right there, Fahrenheit, right at 70, just about to get down. 68 is where I like to start cold plunging. So when the pool gets down to 68, I'll be able to cold plunge and sun gaze because of my location here in Phoenix, in the AZ, in the operating territory of County of Maricopa that does business as Maricopa County and tries to hide their DUNS number and doesn't want you to know that actually they're a corporation. And have you noticed that there's this other corporation that seems to be shut down? They don't seem to be operating. And I don't think they're coming back. In fact, I think a lot of the employees of said corporation are about to be, quote unquote, let go. And then said corporation doesn't have the funds or doesn't care because they can just print the money. Who are we fooling? They just bond it. They just create it out of the bonds anyway, and pay the SNAP program or whatever program. They just print it out of thin air. They buy silver with thin air. They buy everything with thin air. They buy weapons with thin air. They pay our soldiers with, and they're not ours. They pay their U.S. corporate soldiers. No more A on top of the lapel. That's U.S. Marines. That's U.S. Navy. That's U.S. Army. That's U.S. Air Force. That's not USA Air Force. That's not USA Army. That's not USA Marines. That's not USA Navy. If it was, the A would be there. That's just one thing. Oh, and by the way, you know, most of those guys, they get 4-star passports. If they get a passport, if they require a passport, they'll get a 4-star passport. Some of them will get 5, but most of them will get 4-star passports. Unless they're troublemakers, in which case they get 3. And they know if you're a troublemaker from your behavior during basic training. Anyway, big changes coming. Like once in 500-year changes coming, and everybody is just calm and cool as a cucumber. Oh, that Trump, he naughty. Oh, look, the SNAP benefits. Oh, look, they wouldn't shoot Charlie. Oh, look, one plane wouldn't crash. Nobody's saying, oh, look, the whole fucking financial system just about to change. Like everything we knew since we were everything, that's all changing. And how it's going to work out, they're not even sure, so I certainly can't be sure. They say there's going to be a smooth transition, but then they told me something about safe and effective too, and that turned out to be bullshit. So perhaps the smooth transition won't be so smooth when they are printing $1 trillion every fucking 71 days. Trillion. We are at 38 trillion. It'll be 40 trillion in no time. And then you have derivatives on top of that. We're into the hundreds of trillions. And some people are saying quadrillions. And people that can do even a modicum of mathematics realize that this is not going to end well. Now, here's the nice thing. Those of you that are clever enough to move some of your assets into all of those things, meat, eggs, everything is going down in price when measured in these. Takes much less silver to buy the same stuff as it did just a year ago. And a year from now, it'll be even less than that to buy staples. Because those staples are measured in FRNs, and it's not the fact that this is going up in value, it's the fact that the FRN is going down in value at a ludicrous pace. We now have 1% of the money left. The dollar that was created in 1913 has about a penny of purchasing power left. So again, the money in 1980, silver, this is $12 in 1980 money. In 2025 money, this is $50. But in 1980 money, this is $12 still. Because if you convert the 2025 money back to 1980 money, it works out to about $12. Because your $50 has about $12 worth of purchasing power, and that $12 can buy 1 ounce of this. But you know how much further we have to go? Just for this to get back to what it was in 1980 money. And see, back in 1980, we had silver out the yang. There was silver supply. There was still stockpile from the military. There were not deficits. The silver mines were actually producing. But now, nothing in the panhandle of Idaho, hardly at all, that's still producing. The places that are like pure silver in China and in South America, yeah. But other than that, most of those mines are closed. And when they open again, the silver is going to be much more than $50 an ounce. Now, a lot of guys are saying, well, then that means we should buy silver miners. I don't know about that, because I don't think Mexico, and if you take a look, the Mexicans are already starting to nationalize their mines. There's a big push, because why would they sell their silver to us or anybody else for that matter? Their precious silver at $50 an ounce. And see, because the Mexicans, they know, and they have Salinas Price and other guys that are telling you, yeah, this is a precious metal. We call it precious metal for a reason. This is not a base metal. And there's only so much of it. And here's the next thing I know is that we're going to have a bunch of people vilifying those people that bought silver, just like the guys are trying to say, oh, those naughty Chinese and Indians, they actually standing for delivery. They like the product they went buy from us. Those naughty bastards. They're fucking up the market. Yeah, because they want the silver that they bought. Yeah, but they're only supposed to take the paper and turn over the contract. Yeah, but they want the silver because they got to produce stuff like solar panels and cars and batteries and bombs, particularly bombs. Because if you think the Chinese aren't refining their silver to 5.9 so that they can make missiles and so forth, you're fooling yourself. You want peace, buy up the silver. Certain people, I know people that get plenty of Bitcoins. Take one of your fucking Bitcoins and buy up silver. I know people that have billions of FRNs. Take some of your fucking FRNs and buy silver. And then they can't make bombs because there isn't any silver, because it becomes unobtainium. But in the meantime, if you go look up this guy, some dude named Pike and the Masons and so forth, they told you 1 World War, 2 World Wars, 3 World Wars. And now our buddy Martin Armstrong and his AI Socrates tells you 100% chance nuclear war. That hasn't changed. And they already told you in advance. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And Einstein told you, I don't know how we're going to fight World War III, but if we use thermonuclear weapons, I do know how we're going to fight World War IV, and that will be with sticks and stones. But these guys are sure that they can keep it contained. They're only going to bomb a couple cities, no worries. Let's see what happens. But the bottom line, folks, is, and if that happens, oh my God, the price of this. And this is looking more and more like it's happening. 1, because we run out of nitric acid because they need 5.9 silver. 2, gold is fleeing Europe. Because once the bombs drop, gold doesn't move. So these families can't get to their wealth. And if you take a look, it's not just fleeing, it's fleeing Europe. It's going to Africa. It's going to the Saudis and Dubai. It's going to China in the Shanghai exchanges, bullion markets. It's going to South Africa. It's going any fucking where but Europe. It's going to South America. It's going to Argentina. It's going to fucking Ecuador. It's going to the United States and Canada. because once the bombs start dropping, the gold doesn't move. And once the war starts, the gold doesn't move. You can't move gold because if you try to move gold, armies might confiscate it. So once the war starts, the gold stays where it's at. And then there's this whole halal system and so forth. Okay, I know you got gold. I know we got gold. Okay, so now we're just going to say the gold that's in that thing changed over here, even though we didn't move any physically. We put pieces of paper on it that says. But then you have third party risk because they got to trust each other. Now, certain people trust each other because of religious affiliation. Brotherhood affiliation from secret societies and breach of trust is considered among them the highest form, which requires punishment of betrayal. More than murder is breach of trust. So anyway, some of these guys, if they have gold over here and there's gold over here, they will trade paperwork. And yeah, you can go get your gold over in New York, even though nothing physically moved. But those networks, most people don't have access to. You've heard about them. But you got to know somebody. And then that somebody got to trust you. Anyway, the point being is times are a-changing. And we are headed to unobtainium. And it's not like years away now. It's weeks away. And when I say weeks, let's see here. We are already November. So December, that's a delivery month. And then there's January where a lot of those leases expire. And then what? And they don't have the silver. There is more contract than there is silver. That's not conspiracy. That's just, all you got to do is look and do a little math. Okay, and everybody seems to be thinking, "Oh, yeah, well, no, they'll figure it out. They've always figured. They have. They just dumped tons and tons, billions of ounces of non-existent silver, some of it naked, into the market in the 50s. So now the battle is for 50. It's a make pretend battle. They don't have the silver. So now we have, like I said, India and China and Russia and Brazil all demanding delivery for silver that doesn't exist. Well, what's going to happen? Now, a lot of those guys, I'm sure they'll take paper. But you can't use paper to make batteries, and you can't use paper to make solar panels, and you can't use paper. You get the idea. Just like you can't use paper to make nitric acid. If I'm grinning, it's because these fucking people are about to get their comeuppance. And it's going to hurt the rest of us because we've gotten used to their credit and their banking system and everything. You're used to just cruising over to an ATM and pulling out cash if you need it. Or laying down your piece of plastic. Yeah, I think that's coming to an end here. Or there's going to be some changes, let's put it that way. Massive changes. Because that SWIFT system is going away. They abused it. They abused their power. And they have enemies with long memories, longer than mine, because I forgot about China and so forth. I mean, I knew about the Delano family, but I didn't know the Chinese were still quite annoyed about it, and they are. And then the whole thing, revenge is a dish best served cold. They're going to serve a very cold dish on all of us. And some of us will benefit because we understand. And some of us are going to suffer greatly. Okay, I think I'll pow. But I wanted to point this out one more time. See that lovely color? That lovely color is from Jiogulan, not from some synthetic petroleum-based dye called methylene blue. That's good for dyeing your clothes or making stuff white in the wash, but it's not so good inside your body. Although I've noticed that several people have had interesting effects. But the effect that you're looking for is that color, and you can get that color from tea, natural substances. Jiogulan tea, which, by the way, makes centenarians in China, and mate, which the gauchos swear by. Mix the two and drink it. And then take it the next step with living water. Okay, apaw. It's medicine. Find out. Oh, and I want to talk about this. I got sick. I went too fast, first off, because I was sun gazing and doing sound healing and fooling around. Anyway, I went too fast and it made me sick. However, I noticed everybody that talked about silver is talking about getting over a cold or getting or being sick. Everybody that talked about silver. Any of the pundits, any of the ones, I should have had the windows open so I could just name them off. But all of the guys that I listened to with regard to silver, they all got sick. We all got sick. What happened? I find it quite a coincidence because I never get sick. I don't get sick. I've been sick. The last time I got sick, what happened? Lo que pasó es, there was a silly girl who double backs and double boosted, and she's a good friend of mine, and we hadn't seen each other for a while. She gave me a big hug, and I knew immediately when she hugged me that I was going to get sick. And sure enough, oh, brah, knocked me on my butt for like 5-6 days. I was on Maui at the time. Haven't been sick since then. And now this one was gnarly. I mean, gnarly. I'm pretty much over it. But wow. Now imagine I got this and my immune system was compromised because of something foolish that I did. All right. Educate self, educate others. Do a little research on this nitric acid stuff just for fun. You might ask some of the AI. And then, gee, how much of a problem is that? Because I don't hear anybody talking about nitric acid. All right. Crouton Ramon's House of Math is a place to go for, we got 5-star passport stuff coming. That'll be there soon. If you go there now and search Crouton Ramon and 5-star passports, the page just says under construction. But I just cut a video with my youngest son that's actually pretty good. And it's the background information. And then we need to cut another video on exactly what he did to get his 5-star passport. But see, we're not giving you templates. We're not going to give you a form that you can print out and sign. We're going to teach you well enough so that you can express yourself, that would be your rhetoric, on paper with your own hand and tell them why it is you should have a 5-star passport and where you've moved to and all that stuff, and that you understand this system that we have well enough to express yourself and tell them that you know the difference between in-legis and agent and so forth. Anyway, that's coming. And I've made videos, and many of them have been removed, actually. There's paperwork to be done was removed. That annoys me. But anyway, and I see also that many people, like the Stop the Pirates guy got his channel back, and that other dude got his channel back, and lots of people getting their channels back. I never actually got booted, which makes me suspect, apparently. But they did remove many, I've shown you, many of my videos got removed. And I'm currently strike warning, so there's certain things that I'm not talking about because they told me, you'll get one more strike and we're just going to take your whole channel down. We're allowed. Sergeant, it's their company and you signed the agreement. All right. 100th Monkey out. E pluribus unum, Crime Stoppers. Educate self, educate others. And I'll talk to you soon.